This new normal has changed our lifestyles and also our daily routines, I guess. I figure most of us are in the same boat where without a house help, we find homemaking very stressful and tiring. By some trial and error, however, I kind of figured out that the key to efficient homemaking is to stay organized and plan ahead of time. This previously imposed lockdown taught me the hard way how important it is to reduce wastage and be more sustainable. There were times when I would randomly store things in the refrigerator and forget about it for days together. And when I either discover it or remember about it, it would have spoiled, and I was guilty of having to throw it away with a heavy heart. I tried a bunch of different methods to store vegetables, especially greens. And what I noticed was that if you wash them first and dry it and then store it, its shelf life was definitely shorter. I don't know, probably because of the moisture in it. However, this method of wrapping them in paper towels and storing them in a Ziploc bag seemed to have worked best for me so far. The coriander and the mint leaves, when stored this way, are good enough to be used for up to 2 weeks. And you can just take out the amount that you need and wash it just before you use it. If any of you have tried any other good method to store greens for longer, please do comment below and let me know about them. I honestly landed on this method just by trial and error. So if any of you have any tried and tested methods that work, then please do let me know, because I'd love to try it out too. Homemaking is different for different people, and with kids around and a family to feed, it can become very difficult for someone to find pleasure in doing these tasks. But in my honest opinion, I think that the condition of your soul and the state of your mind plays an important part in how you look at homemaking. More often than not, making time to do household chores is not as important as making time for yourself, to nurture your soul. You are the most important factor here, because when you are in a good and peaceful state of mind, everything else will follow through on its own. Something that has really worked for me has been investing in the right products tools and gadgets that are visually pleasing while also making the process of household work much more efficient. And here's also where the concept of minimalism makes a grand entry into the picture. You don't really have to spend a lot of money buying fancy things. But at the same time, you shouldn't really buy something at a sale just because it was cheap. When you pick up random items from the discount section at a store, you'll find that it ends up adding to the visual clutter in your house and does not really add the joy that you wanted it to bring. I tried this and it really worked for me. Pick something that you really want and put aside the money for it month on month till you can afford to buy it. You'll find that this will give you so much more pleasure than something you got for super cheap at the discount section, even though it took more time and you had to wait for it. For me personally, I like to reuse and repurpose. And that's the whole point of minimalism. I'll tell you something that you might already know. No one really builds their homes and lifestyles overnight. It is always a gradual process. The art of homemaking is so uncommon and missing these days because of the number of distractions that we have around us. It's so easy to get caught up in social media and its never-ending recommendations where you jump from one app to another, from one picture to another. And when you watch what others are doing and see what others have, it's normal to start comparing your own life and begin to feel dissatisfied. But you have to remember that life is never as rosy as it looks on social media. And picture perfect homes on Instagram are not a reflection of picture perfect lives. Please do not be overwhelmed by what you see around you on the internet. And also do not be compelled to do something just to fit into the crowd. Your space should be a reflection of who you are. What works for others may not really work for you. So it's important to pause for a moment and customize a lifestyle and a routine that will definitely work for you. We need to surround ourselves with the things that spark joy while also contributing to our mental and emotional well-being. And also, as much as possible, minimize the things that make you feel stressed out or chaotic. I know it's hard to completely eliminate them, but it's important to start somewhere. For example, at this stage in my life, there's so much going on around me that I would prefer my space to be minimal and clutter free, and my workflow to be as optimized as possible, which could drastically reduce the chaos around me. Creating a calm environment reminds me that I can truly relax even while doing something that's not as enjoyable, like homemaking, cooking, and cleaning. It's funny, but my husband thinks I'm a maniac when it comes to cleanliness and organization. But only I know the importance of it and how it helps me stay sane even on days when I have a long list of pending work to be done. Your home is your space, and it should be unique to you. How I optimized and created a workable space for myself was by going through all the items in my kitchen and my home. I asked myself, how many times have I used it in the last 6 to 8 months? And how many times am I going to use it in the coming months? And as I picked up each item, I looked at it and asked myself, if I let it go, am I going to really miss it? If the answer was no, I would give it away or donate it. And once I was done with that process, I made a list of things that would really spark joy in my life. Something that I would really want to see and use around my space whenever I'm working. And once I had made my list, I started to put aside the money every month towards those things. And honestly, it surprised me that I was able to get all the little things on my list in less than 6 months. And I try not to keep changing my space too much. Because when you keep changing, you'll never really be satisfied and you'll always want more. This time around, I stuck with minimal and functional. Another thing that I did was limiting the influence of social media. Like I said earlier, whenever we look at all those pictures and posts on Instagram and all those beautiful pictures of people's houses and all the things that they're doing, we start to question our lives and we begin to worry about what we don't have rather than finding value in what we already have. While we must definitely appreciate all those beautiful pictures, we must not let it affect our minds to be dissatisfied. Whenever you plan to do something in your life or buy something for your house, make sure you're doing it for your own joy and comfort and not because somebody else had it and you wanted it. I hope you enjoyed this day in my life video. If you're new to my channel, please do consider subscribing. And thank you so much for watching.